Hello, dear future doctors. Welcome to MEMONEET. I am Jay Thakkar and I am a third year MBBS student at Sri Mpisha Government Medical College, Jamnagar, Gujarat. And I am working as a biology content creator here at MEMONEET. So, at this point of time, what you must be doing is first of all revision, and second is giving full test. While revising the topics, it will allow you to identify your weak areas and work on them. And we here at Memoneet are providing you full test, so this will make your application good. Okay, your application of the knowledge to the exam paper will be better if you give more and more full test. So at this point of time, you should do keep on revising and keep on giving full test, so this will help you a lot. And today we are going to discuss the solution of zoology section of full test 8. So let us begin. So starting with the zoology section, question number 151, it is an assertion reason question. The assertion states that all vertebrates are chordates, but all chordates are not vertebrates. So yes, this is a correct assertion that all vertebrates belong to the class chordata, right? But all the chordates are not vertebrates. The reason given for it is that protochordates are chordates in which vertebral column is absent throughout their life. Okay, so we have to identify the correct option. So here the correct answer is option 2, because see, both assertion and reason are correct, but and the reason is also the correct explanation of assertion. Okay, because see, protochordates are the chordates in which vertebral column is absent, so they do not belong to vertebrata. Okay, in vertebrates the vertebral column is present. Okay, so the protochordates, in them vertebral column is absent, so they cannot be called vertebrata. So all chordates are not vertebrates, but all vertebrates belong to the chordata. Okay, moving on to the next question, question number 152. So question number 152 states that the unique mammalian characteristics are. Okay, so in the class Mammalia, what are the unique characteristics which are only found in mammals? So the unique characteristics are hairs are unique to mammals, then ear pinna is also unique to mammal, and the mammary glands from which the name mammals came. Okay, so option 3 is the correct answer. The next question is question 153. It is a diagram based question. So as you can see, the given figure shows a cross section of the body of an invertebrate. Okay, so it is a cross section. What is the cross section means? See, if this is an invertebrate, you cut it in between and see the section which is cut. Okay, like this. So this is a cross section. So this is a cross section of an invertebrate. Identify the animals which has such a body plant. So see, in this figure, as you can see, there is body wall, right? This is the alimentary canal. Okay, and in between the body wall and the alimentary canal, body wall will be lined by ectoderm and the alimentary canal will be lined by endoderm. In between them there is only parenchyma. Okay, there are no pouches or there is no body cavity. So this is an example of acoelomate. Okay, so this diagram is an example of acoelomate, right? So as there is no coelom or the no body cavity, so this belongs to acoelomate. And which of the following organism is an acoelomate? So we know that platyhelminthes are acoelomates, right? They do not have a body cavity. So the correct answer here will be option 3. The next question is question 154. Given below are 4 matchings of an animal and its kind of respiratory organ, and we have to identify that which of them is correct. Okay, so we have to identify the correct markings. So silverfish has respiratory organ trachea, so this is correct. Yes, because silverfish respires through trachea. Next is scorpion. So scorpion has book lungs as its respiratory organ. The next organism is sea squirt. So the respiratory organ for sea squirt is pharyngeal gill slit, so this is also correct. Now it is given that dolphin respires with skin. Okay, these two are correct. But see, dolphin belongs to class mammals, right? And mammals respire through lungs. So dolphin does not respire through skin. The respiratory organ in dolphin are lungs. So here the correct markings are option 3, that is A, B and C are correct and D1 is wrong. The next question is question 155. So it states that which of the following statement is incorrect with respect to Rana tigrina. So what is Rana tigrina? It is the bullfrog, right? So which of these is incorrect about frog? First statement is muscular tongue is bilobed at tip and free from behind. So this is a correct statement, right? Because in the frog the tongue is bilobed like this, right? It has two lobes. Okay. Next is maxillary teeth are arranged along the margin of the upper jaw and the lower jaw is toothless. So in frog this is also correct. Next is tadpole larva of frog is with comparatively short alimentary canal than adult. So see, this is an incorrect statement. If you have seen the tadpole larva, it is longer and also it is on herbivorous diet. But as the frog grows into an adult, it shifts on to carnivorous diet. And for carnivorous diet, a long alimentary canal is not required. A short alimentary canal is enough to digest the carnivorous diet. Okay, so in the adult frog, the alimentary canal of adult frog is comparatively shorter than the tadpole. So the correct answer is option 3, that this statement is incorrect. Next is tail is present in the life cycle of frog. So this is also a correct statement because tail is present, right? Next is question 156. So it is given that a frog has its brain crushed. Okay, so the brain of frog has been crushed, but when pinched on the leg draws away. Okay, this is an example of which response or which reflex. So see, when the leg is pinched, right, leg of a frog is pinched, so it follows a simple reflex. And what is reflex? It is the sudden removal of the hand. Like see, if we touch a hot object, we suddenly withdraw our hand, right? So that also functions by reflex. In that, brain is not involved. So in a simple reflex, there is an afferent nerve, that is the motor nerve. It goes to the spinal cord. Okay, so this is a spinal cord, and in that there are no interneurons also, so that the transmission is fast. And then it goes to the efferent nerve or the nerve motor nerve. Okay, so this is a really quick response and there is no involvement of brain. Okay, so in a reflex, brain is not involved. So this is an example of simple reflex in which brain is not involved, and the impulse goes through the spinal cord and immediately the action is produced. So the correct answer is option 2. Next is question 157. It states that which of the following is false. So there are 4 statements given and we have to identify which is of these is false. First statement is fertilization is external in frog. So this is a correct statement because see, in frog what happens, the female lays eggs in the water and the male deposits the sperms on the eggs in the water. So this is an example of external fertilization, right? So female lays many eggs, okay, at a time in water. Okay, and male is responsible for fertilization. So this is an example of external fertilization. Okay, the next statement is in frog development involves larval stage called the tadpole. So this is also a correct statement because the larva of frog is called as tadpole larva. Third statement is tadpole undergo metamorphosis to form adult. So see, the process in which tadpole develops to an adult, the entire form changes, right? The tadpole loses its tail. So this process is called as metamorphosis. And this type of development is called as indirect development. Okay, so this statement, that is the development of frog is direct, this is the incorrect statement. Okay, so the answer will be 4 because in frog there is not direct development, there is indirect development. Okay, the next is question 158. It states that cellulose does not form blue color with iodine because, okay, so first of all, see which substance forms blue color with iodine. You might have heard about starch, right? So the starch has a peculiar structure, okay, which is a helical structure. So if this is a structure of starch, so what happens is if we put the drops of iodine on it, okay, the iodine particles go and sit in between the places in the between the helix. Okay, and therefore it gives blue color to the starch. Okay, so starch appears blue when it reacts with iodine. But see, what happens in cellulose, the structure of cellulose is a linear structure, okay? So there is no place for iodine to go and sit it in between, so it does not take blue color, okay? So the correct answer over here will be, it does not contain complex helices and hence it cannot hold iodine molecules, okay? And therefore it does not turn blue when it reacts with iodine. Moving on to the next question, question number 159. Which of the following is true about the compounds present in the acid insoluble pool? Okay. So when the compounds are separated, we get a acid soluble pool and acid insoluble pool. So it is asking about the acid insoluble pool. So which of this is correct? Okay. The first is, they have molecular weight ranging from 10,000 Daltons and above except lipids. So this is a correct statement because see, the acid insoluble pool mainly consists of macromolecules, and these macromolecules will have molecular weight more than 10,000 Daltons. But lipids are also present in the acid insoluble pool, except there is the fact that lipids do not have their molecular weight above 10,000, okay, but they are found in acid insoluble pool. So this is a correct statement. Next is, they are called as macromolecules. This is also a correct statement. And they are called as biomacromolecules, which is the same. So this is also a correct statement. So here the answer will be option 4. All are the correct statements. Moving on to the next question, question number 160. It states that the compound shown below, so this is a compound and you have to identify what is it, and these are the option. Okay, the option is, it is a component of the ATP molecule, it is most commonly found in the ORI region of the DNA, it can have enzymatic activity, it may be a component of the cell membrane. So see, if you see this structure, there is a nitrogenous base here and this is a ribose sugar, right? So this is adenosine, right? Okay, it contains adenine as the nitrogenous base and also ribose sugar. So this is a adenosine molecule, and if phosphate groups are added to this adenosine molecule, okay, if I add plus 3 phosphate, plus 3 PO4 I add, okay, then what will happen is, these 3 phosphate groups will go and attach themselves and it will form adenosine triphosphate. Okay, it will form adenosine triphosphate. And what is adenosine triphosphate? It is ATP. So this compound, that is adenosine, which contains a nitrogenous base and ribose sugar, it is a component of the ATP molecule. Okay, I hope you understood this. Next is question number 161. Which of the following is not the function of conducting part of the respiratory system? Okay, so what consists of the conducting part of respiratory system? See, the conducting part consists of the following parts, which is the nasal cavity, the pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchi and bronchioles, right? And it is asking that which of the following is not the function. Okay, so first is exchange of O2 and CO2. Okay, so does exchange occur in the conducting system? No. Conducting system plays the function of conduction of the air from the atmosphere to the lungs. The exchange occurs in the alveoli, that is in the lungs only. Okay, so the correct answer will be option 1. It is not responsible for exchange of O2 and CO2. Let us see other options also. Second is, it clears inhaled air from foreign particles. So this is true because there are hair like structures present in the airway, right? So these hair like structures are responsible for trapping the foreign particles. Next is, inhaled air is humidified and it is also warmed. Okay, so the warming and humidification of the inhaled air is done by the conducting system. Next is air conduction. So air conduction is the main function of conducting part of the respiratory system. Moving on to the next question, question 162. It states that which of the following correctly explains the cardiac output? Now what is cardiac output? So see, here the first statement is volume of blood pumped out by each ventricle per minute. Okay, so this is a correct statement because this is the definition of cardiac output, that how much blood is pumped by each ventricle. There are two ventricles, how much blood is pumped by a single ventricle in a minute. Okay, so this is a correct statement. The next is stroke volume multiplied by heart rate. So see, the formula of cardiac output is cardiac output equal to heart rate, means how many times the heart beats in a minute, into stroke volume. Okay, So this is the formula for calculating cardiac output. So this is also a correct statement. The third statement is volume of blood pumped by both the ventricles in 1 minute. So this is an incorrect statement because a single ventricle, okay, we have to take a single ventricle only, and volume of blood pumped by both ventricles in zero point 0.8 seconds. So this is also an incorrect because we have to calculate the cardiac output for 1 minute. Okay, so here the answer will be option 3. 1 and 2 are only the correct statement. Next is question number 163. It is an assertion reason question. The assertion given here is myasthenia gravis is an autoimmune disorder. So yes, this is a correct statement. The reason given here for this is antibodies produced in the body start attacking its own receptors present on the sarcolemma. Okay, the reason is also correct. Okay, and what happens in autoimmune disorder, that is myasthenia gravis, is that, see, there is a function of the immune system that it can differentiate the self from the non-self. Okay, so it attacks only the foreign particles, which is the non-self. But when our immune system starts attacking our own cells, then it is called as autoimmune disorder. And myasthenia gravis is an example of autoimmune disorder in which the body is producing the antibodies against the own receptors which are present on the muscle membrane, that is the sarcolemma. So the reason is also correct and it is a correct explanation of assertion. So the correct answer will be option 1. Moving on to next question, which is question number 164. Okay, it is which of the following is a correct statement. So these are the 4 statements and you have to identify which of these is a correct statement. The first is actin and the regulatory proteins are located in the thin filament. So this is a correct statement, okay, because actin belongs to thin filament and myosin belongs to the thick filament. Let us see the other statements also. Okay, so next is Z lines anchor myosin, which is the thick filament, to the ends of sarcomere. This is an incorrect statement because Z line anchor the actin or the thin filaments. Okay, so Z line, their function is to anchor the actin filaments, which are thin filaments. Okay, next statement is sarcoplasmic reticulum stores acetylcholine. Does sarcoplasmic reticulum store acetylcholine? No, it stores calcium. Okay, so sarcoplasmic reticulum, its function is to store calcium. The next statement is myosin cross bridges contain calcium binding site. So no, this is also an incorrect statement because myosin cross bridges contain ATP binding site. Okay, so here the correct answer will be option 1. Moving on to next question, which is question 165. The modern idea about aging is that our body slowly loses the power of defense against the invasion of germs and pathogens. This process starts by disappearance of which organ? So see, you might have heard that this organ which is being talked about in the question, it is present in the chest region, and it is the largest when the child is born, and it starts to shrink down and it becomes minimal, or it becomes very small by puberty. So do you identify which is this organ? Yes, absolutely correct. This is the thymus gland. Okay, so after the gradual loss of immune function, the process of aging starts, and this is with the disappearance of the thymus gland, right? So, and the function of thymus gland is to mature the T lymphocytes. Okay, the next question is question 166. It states that egg is liberated from ovary in which stage? Okay, so see, when ovulation occurs, right, the egg is released from the ovary. It is present in the secondary oocyte stage. Okay, so here the correct answer will be option 1. The secondary oocyte is released, okay, from the ovary. The next question, question 167. The main function of mammalian ovary during childbirth or parturition is to produce. Okay, now see, mainly during childbirth, first of all, oxytocin is produced, right? Oxytocin is responsible to produce the uterine contractions, but the ovary also functions during childbirth, and the function of ovary is to produce relaxin. Okay, so relaxin is a hormone which is produced by ovary and it helps during childbirth. The next question is question 168, and it states that identify the incorrect statement. So we have to identify which of them is incorrect. So let us see one by one. The first statement is placenta develops after implantation. So this is also a correct statement. Placenta is connected to the embryo through an umbilical cord, which helps in exchange of the material between the fetus and the mother. This is also it is also a correct statement, because the umbilical cord functions as a exchange path. Okay. The next is, placenta acts as an endocrine gland and produces HCG, HPL, progesterone, and cortisol. So, see, this is an incorrect statement, because, see, placenta produces HCG, which is human chorionic gonadotropin, then HPL, that is human placental lactogen, progesterone, and estrogen. So, placenta does not produce cortisol, it produces estrogen, progesterone, HCG, and HPL. So, the correct answer will be option 3. Let us see the fourth statement also. MTPs are essential if the continuation of pregnancy is harmful to mother, fetus, or both. So this is a correct statement, and it is stated under the MTP Act, which was released in which year? 1971. Okay. Moving on to the next question. Question number 169, which is a match the following question. So uh, you are given these barriers, and you have to identify what example belongs to which barrier, right? The first is the mucus coating. The mucus coating is an example of which type of barrier? It is a physical barrier, right? So the skin and mucous membrane are the physical barrier. Okay, so A goes with 2. Next are the leukocytes. So leukocytes are what? They are cells, so they form the cellular barrier. So B goes with 3. Then next is saliva. So saliva is a secretion, and these secretion belongs to physiological barriers. Okay. And fourth are the interferons. So interferons are examples of cytokine, so these belong to cytokine barrier. So interferons are the cytokine barrier, yes, so they belong to cytokines. So the correct answer is option 2. Moving on to the next question, question number 170. So it is stating that introducing fish like Gambusia fish in ponds that feed on mosquito larvae controls the diseases like. Okay, so you have to identify that if we put the Gambusia fish in the ponds, these will eat the mosquito larva, and which diseases will be controlled if we kill the mosquito larva? It's absolutely the diseases which spread by mosquitoes will be controlled. Now among the options, which the diseases are spread by mosquito? So see, malaria is spread by mosquito, by the female anopheles mosquito. Filariasis is spread by mosquito, the female culex mosquito. And the third option is chikungunya. So chikungunya also spreads by mosquito, which is the female aedes mosquito. So all of the above diseases will be controlled if we put gambusia fish in the pond. Okay. Moving on to the next question, which is question 171. It is, cirrhosis of liver is caused by the chronic intake of which of the following? Okay. Now see, alcohol is the substance which is responsible for liver cirrhosis, right? So you might have heard that alcohol, when we consume alcohol, it is converted to acetaldehyde, and acetaldehyde is converted to acetic acid. So this is very harmful for liver, and it damages the hepatocytes or the liver cells. So this causes cirrhosis of liver. The liver becomes stone like. Okay. So the alcohol is the chronic intake of alcohol causes liver cirrhosis. So correct answer is option 2. The next question is question 172. Select the incorrect statement with respect to RNAi technology or the RNA interference technology. Okay, we have to select the incorrect statement. First statement is, agrobacterium vector is used to introduce nematode specific gene into the host plant. This is a correct statement. Let us see the third statement first. Double-stranded RNA binds the target mRNA and initiates the RNA interference. This is also a correct statement. Now the second statement given is, double-stranded DNA binds to the target mRNA and initiates RNA interference. So this is an incorrect, okay, because we saw that double-stranded RNA is binding to the target mRNA and it introduces RNA interference technology, right? And which is the nematode which is mentioned here, nematode specific gene? It is the Melidiogyne incognitia, right? Now moving on to the next question, which is 173, and it states that an enzyme catalyzing the removal of nucleotides from the ends of DNA. Okay, now see, this enzyme is responsible for removal of nucleotides, right? So and it is removing the nucleotides from the ends of DNA. So if this is a DNA particle, okay, DNA molecule is there, and these are the base pairs, and it is responsible for removing nucleotides from the end of DNA. So which will be this enzyme? It will be an exonuclease. See, exo means out and endo means inside. So if it is given endonuclease, the endonuclease removes the nucleotides from the middle, okay, and exonuclease removes the nucleotides from the ends, okay. So the correct answer will be exonuclease, option 2. The next is question 174. It is, which organism is responsible for causing root knots in tobacco? Okay. So here the correct answer is Meliodogine incognitia. Okay, it is a nematode which we saw in the RNAi technology, and it is responsible for producing root knots in tobacco plant. The next is question number 175. Which of the following equipments is essentially required for growing microbes on a large scale for industrial production of enzymes? Okay. So see, it is talking about growing the microbes on a large scale. Now see, large scale production of the enzymes. It is done by what? It is done by the bioreactor. Okay. So if you know that we use bioreactor after we have done the recombinant DNA process. Okay. We have the organism, but we need to grow that microbe and do the quality control of that desired product, and that is done by the bioreactor. Moving on to the next question, question number 176. Read the following statements and select the correct option. Okay. First statement is, in blue-white colony selection, the recombinants produce blue colonies due to insertional inactivation of alpha galactosidase. So this is an incorrect statement. Why? Because there is insertional activation of beta galactosidase, not alpha galactosidase. Okay, the enzyme mentioned here is incorrect. So the statement 1 is incorrect. Okay. Next is, and due to the transformation there is inactivation of alpha the beta galactosidase gene, and this produces white colonies. Okay. So the second statement is, transformants produced during genetic engineering include both recombinants and non-recombinants. This is a correct statement. Okay. So here the answer will be option 2. Only statement 1 is incorrect, right? Moving on to the next question, question number 177. A patient who had undergone a major surgery going through severe pain must be administered with. Okay. Now see, the patient has undergone surgery and he is in severe pain. Now what should be the drug given to him? Now if you know that morphine is a painkiller, right? So morphine is given after major surgeries to prevent pain, okay, to treat pain. So here the answer will be morphine. Now see, heroin and diacetyl morphine both are the same, because when we acetylate morphine, it produces diacetyl morphine, and this is the other name for heroin. If you know that heroin has addictive properties, so it is totally avoided. Okay, so we give morphine in case of surgeries, right? Next is question number 178. It states that a gene whose expression helps to identify the transformed cell, okay, so is known as what? So we have to identify a gene which, if expressed, it helps us to identify that if transformation has taken place or it has not taken place. So what is it called? It is called as the selectable marker. Okay. Moving on to the next question, that is question number 179. Gel electrophoresis, or the agarose gel electrophoresis, is used for what? So if you know that when we do the gel electrophoresis, our main purpose is to separate the DNA fragments according to their size. Okay. In the gel electrophoresis, we have a positive terminal, that is the anode, and the negative terminal, that is the cathode. And this here are the wells in which we put the DNA samples, right? In the wells, after putting the DNA samples, we turn on the power and the DNA travels in this direction, okay, from negative to positive terminal, right? And it gets separated into different bands according to its size. So this process of agarose gel electrophoresis is helpful in separation of the DNA fragments according to their size. The next question is question number 180, and it states that the node of Ranvier, okay, node of Ranvier occurs where? Its options are: nerve is covered with myelin sheath, neurolemma is discontinuous, neurolemma and myelin sheath are discontinuous, and myelin sheath is discontinuous. Now, to understand that, you must know the structure of nerve, okay? So, if you know the structure of nerve, see, these are the nerve endings, okay? And this is the axon, and this is the cell body, right? Here there will be nucleus and there will be nasal granules, okay, inside the cell body. Now on the axon, the neuron can be myelinated, right? And this is the myelin sheath. Now see, at the places where the myelin sheath is absent, like at this junction, okay, now at this place what happens, that if a nerve impulse is traveling in this direction, the nerve impulse has to jump from this place to this place, okay, and this place, this area is known as node of Ranvier, where myelin sheath is discontinuous, but it is always covered by the neurolemma, okay. So here the answer will be option 4. The myelin sheath is discontinuous, okay. And the myelin sheath is formed on the nerves by what type of cells? It is formed by Schwann cells, okay. Moving on to the next question, that is question number 181. It is a match the following type of question. Here there are some options, and it has asked about it, okay. The first is: early Greek thinkers thought what? Okay, the early Greek thinkers thought that the unit of life are the spores, right? So this was the spore theory. So A goes with 4. Then Oparin, okay. What Oparin was, Oparin stated that this the life originated from the non-living organic molecules on the earth, okay. Next is S.L. Miller. S.L. Miller was an American scientist, and the favorite idea for some astronaut in these days is the theory of panspermia, that life came from the outside planets, okay, from meteors. So this D goes with 2. So here the correct answer is option 2. The next question is question number 182. Small amount of urea is able to pass freely into the medullary interstitium via the dash, okay. So if you know that the collecting duct is permeable to urea, and urea passes from the collecting duct into the medullary interstitium, right? So see, if this is the distal convoluted tubule and it opens into the collecting duct, now the urea from the collecting duct passes into the medullary interstitium. So what will happen due to this? There will be concentration gradient, okay, in the medullary interstitium. So the correct answer is option 2, collecting duct. Next is question number 183. Which contraceptive mode of action is similar to that of pills? Now see, if you have heard that pills contain either estrogen or progesterone, or combination of estrogen and progesterone. So what type of contraceptives are similar to those pills? The first is hormonal injection containing the progestogens. This is correct, okay. Next is hormonal skin implants which contain progesterone and estrogen. So this is also correct, okay. The third is copper T. So copper T is a copper releasing intrauterine device, okay. This is incorrect. And fourth is Saheli. So Saheli, if you know, it is a pill which is a non-steroidal preparation, okay. It does not contain estrogen and progesterone. So here the correct answer will be A and B only, okay. That is option 2. The next statement is question number 184, okay. Moving on to the next question. A childless couple can be assisted to have a child through a technique called as gift, okay. And you have to identify the full form of gift. So what is gift? The full form of gift is gamete intrafallopian transfer, which is option 4. What happens in gamete intrafallopian transfer is, inside the fallopian tube, okay, both the male gamete and the female gamete are transferred over here, okay. And the unfertilized female gamete and the male gamete, they are transferred together over here, and the fertilization takes place in the fallopian tube. So this is the process of gamete intrafallopian transfer. The process of fertilization occurs in vivo inside the female body. The next is question number 185. It is: emergency contraceptives are effective if used within 72 hours of what? Okay. Now see, the function of emergency contraceptive is they are effective if they are used within 72 hours of coitus. Okay, so here the correct answer is option 1. They are commonly used in cases of rape or in cases of accidents. Okay, so here the answer will be option 1. The next question is question number 186. Okay, it is the question number 186 is identify the following diagrams and these represent what. Okay, so if you see, the first diagram is there is an organism and we are able to divide it equally in several planes, right? There are two planes shown over here, and if we divide it by two planes, then it produces mirror images. So this type of symmetry is called as radial symmetry, right? And in this type of organism, there is only a single plane and it produces mirror images. There is no other plane. So if this type of division is produced by a single plane only, then it is called as bilateral symmetry. So here the correct answer is option 1. Okay, this is an example of radial symmetry where multiple planes can be used, and this is an example of bilateral symmetry where we can divide the organism in only a single plane. Moving on to the next question. Question number 187. The vasa efferentia in frogs. Okay, we have to identify what is correct about vasa efferentia in the frogs. Okay, so first statement is there are 30 to 14 number connecting the testes to the kidneys. This is an incorrect statement. Next is they run transversely through the mesoarchium and open into the Bidder's canal. So this is a correct statement. Okay, because the vasa efferentia, okay, what is the vasa efferentia? The vasa efferentia are the series of tubules. Okay, you need to understand this. They connect the testes and the kidneys. Okay, they run transversely through the mesoarchium. Okay, and they open into the Bidder's canal, and Bidder's canal is a part of the frog's kidney system. So this is how the sperm is transported in the frog. The next question is question 188. In which of the following compounds are the secondary metabolites? Okay, so these are the compounds given over here and you have to identify which of them is a secondary metabolite. First is morphine. Okay, now what are secondary metabolites? So see, the secondary metabolites are the compounds which are not directly involved in growth. Okay, their function is not growth or development or reproduction of plant, but they are produced by the plant for defense, attraction or communication, right? So these are the secondary metabolites. So from these, morphine is a secondary metabolite, then abrin is a secondary metabolite, and third is curcumin. Okay, so here answer is option 2. A, B and E are the secondary metabolites. The next question is question number 189, and it states that mark the true statement among the following with reference to normal breathing. Okay, so we have to identify which of them is a correct statement. First is inspiration is a passive process whereas expiration is an active process. So this is an incorrect statement, because see, in inspiration what happens, the diaphragm contracts, okay, and it gains a flat shape, and also the external intercostal muscles contract, which is responsible for expansion of the chest cavity. Okay, so in case of inspiration it is an active process, but in case of expiration the diaphragm retains its shape. Okay, it retains its it goes back to its normal dome shape, and that process of relaxation is a passive process. So expiration is a passive process but inspiration is an active process. So here the true statement is option 2, that inspiration is an active process whereas expiration is passive. The next is question number 190, and it states that ECG depicts depolarization and repolarization processes during a cardiac cycle. In the ECG of a normal healthy individual, one of the following waves is not represented, and which of these is that wave? So see, there are 4 waves which we have learnt, okay, for ECG. First is the P wave, and that P wave represents the depolarization of atria. Okay, next is the QRS complex. Okay, so this is the QRS complex, then which represents the depolarization of ventricles. Third wave is the T wave. Okay, this T wave represents the repolarization of ventricles. But see, which wave is not present over here? the repolarization of atria is not seen on the ECG. Why? Because see, the repolarization, see, first depolarization of atria occurred here, okay, at the P wave. Now, the repolarization of atria occurs at this time when there is production of QRS complex due to the depolarization of ventricle, and this QRS complex is very large, and this masks the repolarization of atria. Okay, so that's the reason why repolarization of atria is not seen on ECG. So, the correct answer is option 2. The next question is question number 191, and it is a match the following question. So there are diseases given over here, and you have to identify what happens in the disease. The first one is rheumatoid arthritis. Now in rheumatoid arthritis, there is inflammation of the synovial membrane, right? So A goes with 2, okay? Then B is atherosclerosis. In atherosclerosis, there is the thickening of arteries, okay? Then C is gout, and in gout there is accumulation of uric acid. Yes, there is excess uric acid, and uric acid crystals are accumulated in the synovial joints, that is gout. The fourth is angina pectoris, and angina pectoris is called the pain in the chest. Okay, so here the correct answer is option 4. Moving on to the next question, that is question number 192. Mary is about to face an interview, but during the first 5 minutes before the interview, she experiences sweating, increased heartbeat rate, and increased respiration. Which hormone is responsible for her restlessness? Now, see, here the answer will be adrenaline and noradrenaline. Okay, why? Because, see, during the condition of stress or fear, okay, there is activation of the sympathetic nervous system, and this sympathetic nervous system is responsible for releasing the adrenaline and noradrenaline. They are also called as epinephrine or norepinephrine, and they are also called as the stress hormones. So these hormones help in the condition of fear, fight and flight. So the fear, fight and flight hormone are adrenaline and noradrenaline. So here the answer will be option 2. Sorry, option 3, adrenaline and noradrenaline. Next is question number 193. That is an assertion reason question. In human male, the testes are extra abdominal and they lie in the scrotal sacs. Okay, so this is a correct assertion. The reason given here for it is scrotum acts as a thermoregulator and keeps the testicular temperature lower by 2 degrees Celsius for normal spermatogenesis. Now see, normal spermatogenesis does not occur at human body temperature. It requires a slightly lower temperature, and that lower temperature is maintained by the scrotal sac. So here both the assertion and reason are correct, and the reason is also a correct explanation for assertion. So answer will be option 1. The next question is question number 194. Arrange the following in order from when the virus enters into a normal cell till the new viruses infect the other cells. Okay, so how does a viral enter a normal cell? First of all, what happens is the viral RNA is introduced inside the cell. Okay, so inside the cell the viral RNA enters. Okay, after the entry of viral RNA, what happens is viral DNA is produced from RNA, and that process of production of viral DNA from RNA is called as reverse transcription, right? And the enzyme which is responsible for reverse transcription is reverse transcriptase. After this step, the new viral DNA which is formed, it incorporates into the host genome by the process of integration. And the enzyme responsible for integration is integrase. Next, new viral RNA is produced, and from the RNA, by the process of translation, different viral proteins are produced, and through that, new viruses are produced. So here the order will be DEBAC. Okay, so the correct answer is option 2. The next question is question number 195. It states that insulin is used, which is used for diabetes, it was earlier extracted from the pancreas of what? Okay, now see, the option 2 and 3 are bacteria and humans. The recombinant DNA technology which obtains insulin from the bacteria is started recently only. Okay, so earlier it was extracted from the pigs or the slaughtered animals, pigs or cows. Okay, so the correct answer will be option 4, 1 only. The next is question number 196, and It is the DNA molecule to which the gene of interest is integrated for cloning is called what? Now, if you have heard about vectors, okay, so vectors are these type of DNA molecules, okay, and in these vectors, the desired DNA or the desired gene is integrated over here, and this is then transferred into the cells, okay, for production of the desired product. So these DNA, okay, these DNA molecule to which the gene of interest is integrated for cloning is called as the cloning vector or the vector. Next is question number 197. It states that filtration of blood takes place at which place? Okay, the options are PCT, DCT, collecting ducts, and Malpighian body. Now, for this, you must know the structure of nephron in detail. If you know that what is Malpighian body, okay, the Malpighian body consists of the glomerulus, okay, and the Bowman's capsule. So these two combined are called as Malpighian body, and we know that the filtration of blood takes place in the glomerulus and the Bowman's capsule. Yes, the podocytes are lined in the Bowman's capsule. So here the answer will be option 4, that is Malpighian body. Next is question number 198. It states that which of the following vectors is used to replace the defective gene in the gene therapy? Okay, so the answer to this question is option 1. Adenovirus is a vector which is used to replace the defective gene in the gene therapy. Okay, moving on to the next question, which is the penultimate question, question number 199. The Needles bodies are mainly composed of. First of all, where are these Needles bodies found? These Needles bodies, also called as Needles granules, they are found in the cell body of neuron. Remember this? Okay, so this is a cell body of neuron, and this is the nucleus, and Needles granules are found surrounding it, okay, in the cell body. And these Needles granules are mainly composed of what? They are composed of the RER, that is rough endoplasmic reticulum, and the ribosomes. Okay, so here the correct answer will be option 4, that is free ribosomes and the rough endoplasmic reticulum. Moving on to the last question, that is question number 200. The flippers of penguins and the dolphins are examples of what? So see, the flipper of penguin and the dolphin, they are what type of organs? They are analogous organs, okay? And analogous organs are an example of convergent evolution, okay? So here the answer will be option 2, that is convergent evolution. So here we have discussed the complete zoology section of full test 8. I hope you have understood all the questions, and if you have any doubt, please be free to put them in the comment section below. Till then, keep hustling and keep on giving full test, keep on revising, and all the very best for the NEET exam.